remains unchanged. The groups estimate that the adjustment program could cost $175 billion in foregone payments and interest. We have some major news. There are upcoming changes to Social Security, and it may take effect sooner than we expected. As Social Security is adjusted on an annual basis, lawmakers are working together to improve the program. On one hand, bigger monthly payouts may arrive for many beneficiaries, but a certain group of people could see their tax liability increase. For over 49 million retired workers who depend on Social Security benefits, the program is a vital financial lifeline that helps cover their monthly expenses. This retirement program has a significant impact, lifting more than 20 million people out of poverty. It includes 15 million individuals aged 65 and above. But Social Security is not a static system. It continuously adapts to changes in the U.S. inflation rate, life expectancy, and other relevant factors. Although specific changes won't be announced by the SSA until October, there are several changes that will take effect in 2024. The most anticipated change is the cost of living adjustment, which is an annual increase intended to keep the pace with the rising cost of living. Due to high inflation, though, people are having questions about it. In 2023, beneficiaries reached the highest COLA in 41 years, but the COLA for 2024 is expected to be more modest. The nonpartisan senior advocacy group, the Senior Citizens League, estimated that the COLA for 2024 would be 3%. For the average retired worker, though, receiving $1,900 would mean an additional $55 per month next year. Unfortunately, though, the purchasing power of Social Security benefits have been declining regularly since the start of the century, and any increase actually won't even adequately address the estimated loss in purchasing power that is experienced by seniors since 2000. Another change for the upcoming year involves high-earning workers who will see an increase in payroll taxes due to a rise in the maximum taxable earnings cap. The payroll tax contributes about 90% of the program's revenue, and only about 6% of workers reach the maximum taxable earnings cap a year. Additionally, high earners collect Social Security benefits. They may experience a large monthly payout, as the maximum monthly benefit amount at a full retirement age is expected to rise in 2024. To qualify for the maximum Social Security benefit, you must meet 3 criteria. You must be the retirement age of full, work at least 35 years, and reach or surpass the maximum taxable earnings cap at all 35 years used in calculation.
I recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Jacobs, for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, and thank you to all the panelists and Speaker Gingrich for being here today. This is a very critical...
As the crisis pushed back the 2019 filing date by 3 months. Under the law, lawmakers and taxpayers generally have years to file and claim their tax refunds. That's if you don't even file a return within 3 years. The money becomes the property of the U.S. Treasury Department. And now, if you reside in the state of New Mexico, keep an eye out on your bank account. The New Mexico governor says that the latest round of rebates will go out mid-June. Thanks to a bill passed by lawmakers during the legislative session, New Mexico people have previously filed taxes and will get another round of rebates. Single tax filers will get $500. Married couples will get more. And taxpayers who use direct deposit when filing their tax returns will get the latest round of rebate checks automatically via direct deposit. If you moved here since 2021, you should update your address online via the Taxation and Revenue Department's Taxpayer Access Point. Now, for everybody in the United States of America, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that the consumer prices climbed 5% in March, down from 6%. The latest inflation reading represents the 9th straight month of easing price growth on an annual basis, and it's down from 9% high last June. But it's still well above the Federal Reserve's 2% target, among the key categories still seeing outsized pace growth, and now it's climbing 8.5% from March 2022 to March 2023, which hit 8.3% growth. As a result, cooling inflation won't really have proved much about solace to consumers in its demand that the Fed is aiming to address by the raising interest rates. This includes 2 months of discussion with 6 to 10 lawmakers at a time. The stakes couldn't be higher for Kevin McCarthy. This Republican must avoid a misstep that would weaken his speakership, which any single frustrated member could voice a vote to terminate. And unlike other GOP items, which satisfy the party base, there are slim chances of any becoming law. Any debt ceiling limit is disliked by the Republican Party. Now, the New Mexico governor has recently announced a bill that the state will be sending out the newest round of $500 rebates in mid-June. The State Taxation and Revenue Department will send rebates of $500 to single filers and $1,000 to married people. This is for heads of households. Any New Mexico resident who filed a 2021 New Mexico personal income tax return and is not declared as dependent under the person's taxpayer refund will receive the rebates automatically. It's also important to remember that there is no application to receive rebates. The governor told reporters today that there are prices for basic necessities continuing to be high across the nation, and our state is in a fantastic financial position, and it's important to me that New Mexico's families are sharing in that success. Taxpayers who received a refund by direct deposit on their return will receive a rebate by direct deposit as well. All others will get a check in the mail, and direct deposits will be mailed and distributed first, and checks will be mailed over the following weeks. Now, eligible New Mexico residents have until next year to get this money, so everybody, don't waste time and get the stimulus check that you need.
Hundreds of thousands of families in North Carolina could get another check from the state. North Carolina is receiving about $5.7 billion from the latest stimulus package. Governor Cooper wants to use that money for another round of extra credit grants. Last year, those checks went to families with kids to help with the cost of remote learning and homeschooling. The difference this time is they're using income limits.
We decided we would propose an income limit because
we have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI and SSDI. Continue watching this video because you don't want to miss out on this. There's a ton of news that we have to cover, so continue watching. Folks, more direct payments are arriving for millions of people, and it has been confirmed that states will continue to send out stimulus and tax refunds until the end of 2024. So you may be able to claim a fourth stimulus check before New Year's of 2023. This year has already been filled by rapid increase in inflation, with citizens and especially those from low-income households struggling financially in the face of a cost of living crisis. Following the two crisis years, the economy was hit hard with several supply chain shortages and ultimately drove up the price of everyday items, including groceries. Compounding these shortages were the sanctions imposed on oil imports. In June this year, the average price of a gallon of gas in America almost hit $5, with the Federal Reserve ultimately choosing to increase rates again in order to curb the rapid rise in inflation. Despite these measures, several residents still continue to struggle with these increased costs. To help ease the financial burden on its residents, several states have implemented the use of tax rebates and stimulus checks to help those from middle and low-income households navigate these tough times. So as the year draws to a close, several states are continuing to push out more stimulus into the pockets of Americans. Now, the state of California next wave of residential stimulus payments offset the nation's rising inflation rates. It will reportedly arrive at the end of December, and the $1,000 checks are being distributed as part of the middle class tax refund, in which $9.5 billion were earmarked for state residents. Payments will arrive either through direct deposit or a prepaid debit card, and residents are being told to expect a few weeks of delivery. So the most recent middle-class tax refund payments were doled out in October, and according to reports, a large number of California residents have yet to receive the fall payments via direct deposit or prepaid cards. California's system plans on paying residents whose last name begins with letters N through V